Welcome back to Shanghai for live coverage of the Dota 2 Asia Championships presented by Perfect World. Our final series is upon us. It is the second of the two semi-finals of the upper brackets, and two surprise packages are involved. Vici Gaming, who have survived a couple of very scary matches so far in this tournament, have made their way through to the top 6 guaranteed. Still hunting DPC points, they go head-to-head with a team who've been the surprise package of the entire tournament after a victory in the quarterfinals yesterday and a very good display in the group stages going 6-1, and that is Mineski. They also have a little bit of beef and a little bit of history between these two as well. They've met a few times, 5 in fact over the season, with Mineski coming out on top 3-2. So everything to play for as we head into this semi-final. But Jack, there's a bit of needle between these two teams. Explain why.
Yeah, and it's fairly recent. So 71 is now, of course, the coach of Mineski, and 71 has a long history in the Chinese scene. The coach of the older eHome and DK teams, but with do
you know what? Actually, hold that thought, because apparently the teams are ready to come out. So let's introduce those first, and then we'll hear from Jack.
Welcome on stage, Vici Gaming. Welcome on stage, Mineski.
Here we go then for 5th plays 9th in the Dota 2 professional circuit right now. Both teams needing more DPC points for very different reasons as well. But Jack, you were telling us before the introductions why there's a little bit of needle between these two teams.
Yeah, so it's a bittersweet homecoming of sorts for 71. Obviously, the coach of those old legendary Chinese teams, eHome and DK. And then most recently, a couple years ago, he coached eHome. And on that team were Lanham and Old 11. And at the time, things got really bad on this team. At some point, I think at one of the summits, the team was like no longer eating together. There was like clear factionalizing going on. And some of the players lost a lot of faith, especially Lanham. in 71 as a coach, because in the Chinese scene it's seen as 71 as someone who doesn't really play the game that much even, and they're just like, how would the players listen to this guy who barely plays Dota? He seems to be very good as a communicator and perhaps as a kind of harsh disciplinarian, but he's not really a Dota player, so can we listen to this guy as a coach? So he has a bit of different reputation in the West, but that's a bit of a rivalry going back, and as a result of that, including Seiler at the time going on Weibo and kind of flaming 71 because he told them to play more like EG, but himself supported a different team that just beat EG. He was like, why do you have the right to be here as a coach? And so because of that, I believe that he's been 71 for various other reasons has been outside of China and been looking to coach other teams, and he's found his way now here onto Mineski, where he will have a chance to knock a Chinese team on home soil to the lower bracket.
Yeah. Very interesting indeed, especially with a couple of players involved that he's worked with before as well. So that's one of the players on screen right now, the old Lanham, as it were, for Vici Gaming. Kyle, have you been surprised by Vici bouncing back? They had a great month ago-ish where they made 2 grand finals in a row, and other than Virtus Pro, they looked like the best team in the tournament. But they've been off the track since then as well.
I think the patches have really been throwing a lot of the Chinese teams off.
Right.
You can see it affect, I think, Newbie the most out of all of them, where they're kind of stuck in the past, and other teams have developed more, advanced past them, and now defeat them easily. I think Vici, it's key, much like we just saw LGD, that they all end up on comfort heroes, but with a draft that isn't limited. I think that first game LGD played Liquid, the Tricore, it took me a while to realize, but then I'm like, wait, they're not doing any damage. And in games 2 and 3, they covered this weakness and ended up drafting a lot more wave clear. They could play the game a lot faster, and then they also had comfort heroes. And I think that's super key for Vici specifically. We saw the game the other day where they had Omni, OD, Slark cores.
Yep.
You don't see Slark anymore, but those 3 heroes, that's top 3 on every player for sure. And they had excellent matchups. They take the game. And I think drafting is just super important for this team.
Yep. They showed that in the TNC game, didn't they?
Yeah, their drafts were really good there. And we were really surprised by how Lanham showed up. He was
second and third games anyway.
Yeah, he was kind of the main person that people are talking about. Oh, he's not been playing well. He has been really off, and he needs to step up. Otherwise, the team is going to struggle.
This team, however, have not struggled at all. What is it with this team, Jack? Why have they suddenly become good again? Can't just be patch. Can't just be the right heroes for the right team.
Yeah, so we talked about kind of at the start of the tournament, they came out very strong in the group stage, and we believe that they found their confidence and footing a little bit. They do play a variety of different strategies, and they've shown that they can play both fast and slow, whatever fits the occasion, whatever the situation demands. Yesterday against Optic, they basically received the same draft 2 games in a row and looked pretty convincingly good there. And Jabs has been great as a support player, as a 4, which Winter pointed out he originally played, but you saw he dominated in those 2 games with Nature's Prophet yesterday, winning all their lanes, generally speaking, this team is, and they can choose to go with that into scaling or into more of a kind of mid-game team fight. And both styles have worked out for them throughout this tournament.
I mean, you talk about Jabs a lot, you talk about Ice a lot, but I think key player-wise, Mushi is the key player. He is the space maker carry. If he gets a bad game, they lack a lot of tempo-making players. I feel like he is the person that you are looking to shut down. If you're talking about Mineski, if you're trying to devise a game plan around it, he's the guy that you want to target, maybe even target ban and put pressure on his lane.
Okay. They've only lost 1 game, Carl. Does that surprise you this deep into the tournament?
It did at the start, but after watching them play for a couple of days, I was no longer surprised. They have looked like one of the best 3 or 4 teams here, and especially with VP already in the lower bracket, Liquid in the lower bracket, Mineski I think has a real chance to get very far in this tournament because I feel like their playstyle matches up the best against teams like Vici and LGD, which would be their competition, and it's a lot like even playing in complexity, where we always felt the most confident against Chinese teams because our fast-paced style of Dota is usually what you want against these teams that can play super calm and collected and will inevitably beat you, but not if you can be killing their base in 20 to 25 minutes.
Is there a faster team right now in this tournament left?
TNC?
They won't be around for long.
All right,
though.
let me rephrase that. Is there a faster team that doesn't throw?
Good. No, there isn't.
Okay.
TNC is reminds you like a 17-year-old who just stole his dad's Ferrari. He's going way too fast, and he might have some issues when he hits 100 and like that big bend coming up. Mineski, collected. They're like Jeff Gordon. They're ready. They're in control.
I like this. We're getting NASCAR references as well. Amazing. These guys have no idea what you're talking about
Neither
right now.
does the stream. It's fine.
I thought you would go back to the small ball, and then you would say the Chinese teams have like the twin towers, the plotting bigs that slow the game down one possession at a time. I thought you were going to go back there, but NASCAR, it's
Are you out?
I mean,
You
it's
done?
pretty simple. It's a lot of guys in cars driving a circle.
Yeah.
And
They just turn left.
yeah,
That's all they do.
great. Sounds like
Yeah.
a great team sport comparison.
Amazing.
it's an American pastime. 4 hours, nothing but car engines and circles.
I still enjoy it. It's fun. Getting back to the Dota, however, if Vici are going to beat Mineski here, Kyle, how are they going to do it? Are they going to try and slow them down to their pace? Are they going to go back to those comfort picks we saw in game 2 and 3 yesterday against TNC? How is it going to be?
I mean, a lot of it just feels like hero matchups. And we saw Liquid choosing to ban Underlord in Game 3. I think that's a hero Mineski has to keep an eye on because that was a big part, like FY Tusk, of course, but the Chalice Underlord in Game 2 was just super important. He didn't even use Dark Rift, but it's more about the damage reduction, the ability to buy these teamfight items, and then your Wave of Terror does so much damage. Like Firestorm is a ridiculous amount of damage. It's based on max HP, so a lot of these tanky cores that Mineski utilizes, the Gyrocopters, the DKs, they just get creamed by this spell. And all of a sudden, you're diving, but you're dying.
The hero also offers pretty rare global mobility, including for your whole team. And that's something, again, like you always look at what a hero does that's like very different or unique from others in its position. And I would say that's one thing that really separates the Underlord.
He accelerates the game when you're winning.
Real quick, I just realized this is the first series I think I've seen where the two coaches are going to be drafting against one another. It's a pretty cool storyline considering that, it's usually a story of the captains, but when you're a coach, all you're doing is drafting. And now you're not going up even against an enemy team. You're going up against this guy in the background that doesn't have the same tendencies and play style ticks that the players actually would have. He's just drafting, what do I think my team will play the best to win? And you can't really research or prepare in the same way, I feel, when you're going up against a coach and not a player.
Really? You think it makes that much of a difference? In terms of the heroes picked or style or what?
It's more that a coach is removed from the team. So certain... You're going to have inherent biases when you play long enough with a group of players against or for certain heroes. You'll feel more comfortable on weaker matchups because you have more faith in them. Whereas a coach is looking at a game from the perspective of, okay, what do we play well enough to win, and what's the best here? And I think you have a better top-down view and what's the word you use to describe 71's coaching style, Jackie? Like a deeper understanding of the game, something like that, where
Big picture.
Big picture, exactly. The coach is all about the big picture, and I think the players can have a tendency to have a more constrained and just shallower view on how we're
They
going
will
to win.
stick to maybe more of what hero they would like to play instead of what hero
Right.
that is best
It's
for the
emotional.
team. Yeah.
It's emotional for them, isn't it? They're like, got a choice between these two heroes. I really like playing this. I'll play that one.
Because it's the pressure, you have to do well. This is the game that would change a lot for the DPC. So you're kind of maybe lean towards playing something that you're more comfortable with. It might not be the best pick
Sure.
for the game, but you're going to make that decision.
That said, Jack, both these drafters and coaches do listen to the players. They aren't the ROTK, you're playing what I want you to play right now. They are listening inside the booth.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a difference between a coach who can also play and has proven himself capable of standing in as a player and winning a championship while coaching VG Reborn 2 years ago, and the coach who is kind of known throughout the Chinese scene for not playing Dota. So maybe there's a difference to be found there. But
Mikasa does play, though.
yes, still.
Why
incredible.
doesn't he play out of curiosity? Why is he always coaching?
He's, to him, he just felt, I think he's like 30 now, 31. He wanted to settle down a little bit on the older side, and then for him, it's just a real grind. And so, and he's been a successful coach for some time. He coached Newbie during their TI4 championship run. So, briefly came back to play kind of out of necessity or because the team required it in that VG Reborn situation with Nono. First, there was a meme that came from that where it was like Nono had passport issues or visa issues, and that's why he couldn't go to the tournament. And they're just like each time, they tell a player that he can't go or he's not performing well enough to say that his visa's got problems. So
That's like a
someone gotta
Chinese
step up.
Suns fan to me.
Yeah, a bit like that.
Yeah, where teams couldn't attend and somehow
Oh no,
DC would attend instead.
the meme at the time was that it's just like a generic answer, like why isn't the player playing? And it was like, oh, he has issues at home or family issues. So then someone made like a very detailed meme of like, you know, anytime someone has to get subbed out, oh, there's problems at home. That's why the player couldn't make it. And there's like pictures of Mikasa looking at his players and saying like, you know, you wanna have some family problems. Or, you know? And it was like, oh, you're playing great. You know, your family's just fine. And stuff like that. So.
Amazing.
I love it, man. I wish we had similar stuff in the Western scene, but like the Chinese comics as well. Every TI, every couple of the big majors are always so cool. They do like little recaps and just it's just fun to watch. It makes it more interesting to play.
Indeed.
Yeah,
I'm hearing that there's a small technical issue that they're trying to solve right now. So whilst we've got the teams ready to go, why don't we dip into the social media questions that we haven't had a chance to do so far because the games have been running so smoothly and one into the next that we haven't had a chance to view any. So let's take a social media question from the Reddit thread. This one is, hero to be picked the most by the end of DAC, Dark Willow or Pangolier?
Well, I can tell you, hero to be picked in the next game, Pangolier.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you include,
unless it's banned, which we think it will be.
I think you have to include bans because that demonstrates it would be picked. I think it would be Pangolier. Willow seems to have not like been figured out, but people just stopped picking it. Even EG, they didn't take it, and it was available, if I'm not mistaken.
True.
I think I disagree. I think Willow has the edge because I think Pango is kind of team specific. I think there's a couple teams that you absolutely don't allow it through or might pick it. This being one of them, coming up with Mineski. But I think Willow just more generally like teams. It's either taken very early in the draft or it gets banned. But I think if this question was like, you know, which hero is more dangerous or which hero are you more concerned about, then I might lean a little bit more towards the Pangolier. Just because you're so not used to playing with it, you haven't really had time to like figure it out, then it can really wreak a lot of havoc. We saw the amount of work that Zai did earlier with this Pangolier on the 4 position, so it can be pretty scary. Ice as well.
Yeah. I can tell you that if you chose Pangolier, you'd be wrong.
Of course.
Because technically he can't actually be picked more than Willow's already been picked during
mean,
this tournament.
Sure, but I felt like you're asking us the question now, not a week ago.
Yeah, it was a maths question, Carl.
You just like to be right. I know it is. You gotta bend the rules to come out on top of this panel.
Yeah.
Damn it.
There we go. We are into the draft, and we get the 22nd pick of DAC
Really? Oh, that's a lot of Willow.
by Willow. Yeah.
The Pango is banned, as we were just talking about.
It's also been banned 40 times, by the way, just to add
Holy
to your
crap.
whole point of, it's been banned a lot as well. 62 times now combined.
The 2 Chens have been banned out by Vici as well.
The 2 Chens.
The team has some poor nature's profit. They want
I
no
like
part
that.
of that.
It makes sense. I mean, the bans against Liquid were Veno, Furion, and then Lone Druid or Wisp, if I'm not mistaken. I like the Nyx against the Willow, too, because you can Carapace stun the Bedlam and then point-blank stun him even if he's in the ethereal form. So one of the few heroes that really doesn't care about Willow's ability to render herself untargetable.
The 2 Omnis are still in the pool as well, just to carry on Jack's theme.
It also punishes some of the, again, Vici kind of plays these like big core lineups or raid boss lineups and a lot of individual core farming. And with the Nyx, we saw this used by TNC yesterday as well, right? There's a game where they punished Ori really hard in that first game. I think when these cores tend to farm alone and before they're ready to deathball or teamfight, again, Nyx offers a lot of reach there, a lot of pick-off potential.
I think DK is a solid option for Vici here. You really want this point stun. Can look at going to like that solid paparazzi carry, Lifestealer, Jug, Lifestealer. I just feel like you might want to pick that later. It's a very good hero here, but in the opener, I feel like it's a bit exposed.
Yeah, I was thinking about Lifestealer as well, about being a hero that's really good against 2 of the opening picks, but he lacks the flexibility of like moving to the mid lane or another lane because it depends on matchup what you're gonna get.
However, I do think that you have some maneuverability and that you can itemize differently, but he also seems to be just like a solid carry selection. But as you say, I just don't like it too much this early. I think you're really susceptible to a lot of heroes Mineski likes to play, and as you can't do anything with him now. And I think you really need a solid laning matchup for this hero to really prove himself worthy of this priority.
A Baron Omni. Those are the heroes that you kind of have to watch out if you have Lifestealer.
Dire team ban.
Yeah, there's a lot of other answers, right? There's also the PL, which is a problem. Yeah, again, usually you first phase this hero and it deadens the lanes a little bit.
I think TA is a big one as well, and Void. There's the abandoned ban. Yep.
And we've also seen one that we talked about pre-game, which is the Underlord as well.
You think you have to ban that hero? I personally still value that hero as I think it can be first phased, and it's certainly worthy of a ban in the spot Mineski just chose to get rid of it, because it is, I think, way too powerful to allow someone to take in the second phase, especially when they're first pick. Because once an uncountered Underlord, especially when you have a Gyrocopter, it's just so scary.
Pipe and Atrophy Aura.
Yeah.
See you later, Gyro. You're
exactly.
tickling my teammates. No
Indeed.
damage done.
Like, the Nyx can be annoying, but it's just like, it isn't. You know, you're just there.
Dire team ban.
The SF ban, another solid gyro counter. Natural BKB hero to be able to just man up and kill the Nyx.
Yeah, and with the OD already out of the pool, and the fact that because of that Lifestealer pick, the Terrorblade would be a little bit more difficult to get away with, or lane. Again, like the gyro feels like in a pretty safe spot in this draft. And I don't think Vici is going to go, taking that Kunk, as you mentioned, as that secrets answer as a counter to the gyro as a core.
I could see them picking an AA, third or fourth. It's not super good against Nyx, but especially when you have a Lifestealer, I just still value that hero super high. I cannot think of a better 5 in just like all of Dota right now. It gives you so many tools, and I think we actually saw Vici utilize this dual support combo earlier in the group stage. I believe it was against OG in the BO1 elimination match, where they just have this Willow AA roaming around, and then in the late game, or the mid game, you have 3 ultimates.
I think Mineski might pick the AA first. I think AA is also really good with what they have. They have the Nyx, so it allows the global gank potential. It works pretty well with the magic damage coming out from the gyro.
It'll be interesting to see what they choose to do laning against the Lifestealer. Dragon Knight. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Gyro DK once again. I think if you're Vici, you definitely AA with this pick, though. I'm very afraid for Mineski into that hero. I feel like they've been relying on this ability to constantly run at their enemies and just take objectives and fights earlier. And the moment, like, AA just doesn't give you that laning dominance, especially as Jack said, both Chens are already banned. And that leaves AA as just like the super solid pick, and you kind of guarantee you're going to win these lanes.
Good Fenrir pick as well. Assuming that the Willow is for Lanham.
Yeah,
you weren't in that weren't too impressed with the Lanham's Willow the other day.
I think he plays it decent, not like super really good. He misses his spells from time to time, but the hero has 2 ultimates. You miss one ulti, there's still another ulti.
Sounds like my kind of hero.
Yeah, but I'm kind of agreeing with AA being really strong for either team. Like the hero is just going to offer a lot.
They go back for the Bane. That is the most played for Fenrir over the last 3 months.
Dire team pick.
There's the Omni.
I like Bane. It's super strong against the Gyrocopter, much in the way Underlord is. You just enfeeble him. DP.
Another DP, okay.
It seems like both teams don't give a shit about what the enemies are picking. They just have this plan that they want to get through with. And we saw the Ori DP yesterday carrying his team against TNC.
I do like that hero a lot. I actually like DP against Nyx because you don't build these like high intelligence items. You're not like an OD or a Leshrac where you just kind of die to mana burn late game.
I don't
and
like
the silence is huge.
I don't like to play against Nyx though as DP because then you get randomly Carapace all the time.
I agree, but I feel like the matchup against the DP Gyro Omni, like they have a slow damage, right? And if he has that same build as last game, the Yules, a BKB, he can get the sleep save into an immediate BKB, and then the Aetherland, no, Aeon Disc, yeah. And all of a sudden, that DP is indestructible. And I really like when you have these 2 core supports with saving mechanisms and peel, and then 2 cores that'll both have BKB purchased by DP or Yules, Lifestealer Rage, and self-sustain.
I mean, I guess with the DP pickup, they're gonna ban the AA.
I hope so.
There's no way
There's
no way they don't ban the AA now. But they're taking so long, so.
Dire team pick.
They banned Shadow Demon.
Ooh.
Interesting. What offlane are they going to go for?
Shadow Demon's
Bat.
good against Lifestealer, great against the Bane ultimate. I don't know. I just think AA just provides, like you said, AA just gives too much, so much.
Could see.
10
I think
seconds
Brew is
remaining.
super underpicked right now, but I don't see them going for that. They have
Brew
it's like
against
a,
Omni, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's a weird spot to be in. They need an offlaner, unless you want to make. You could like offlane the DP, but I think Ori plays that hero far too well.
Yeah.
The
There's a
Doom,
Tiny
the
in
Doom would have been
ball.
a
Yeah,
great
Doom
pick.
would
I
be
think that was
great.
an excellent ban.
Base Master?
Yeah,
Yeah, Tiny's still in there, and so is the Bat Rider as well.
I actually agree with Mineski 100%. They would pick Doom right away
Yep.
if it was
Also,
available.
there's also
So
like a
good here.
Centaur or something. We
Mhm.
haven't seen that hero in a while, but does some of the same
Yeah.
things, right? Allows them to disengage from
Mm.
fights as well and from GA.
There's
Tough
a, there's a Void, there's a Tide, if you're looking at longer cooldowns.
I think I think Tide. I like the Tide. Okay. All right.
What's happening?
I mean, it fits the style. You know, it's a third really tanky core. It kind of denies an AA pick as well. You really don't want to pick that hero into Bane and Lone Druid. I think it could
10
just be like this
seconds
offlane DP we've seen before, or maybe it's just offlane Lone Druid. But it's just
5
curious to me. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Look at the damage output from Vici with no Exorcism up. What is it? You kite the open wounds from Lifestealer, and
I-
Lone Druid has no Radiance, and all of a sudden, what are you afraid
I
of?
think
You
if
just
they
dive in.
if they don't win their lanes, they're gonna have a really tough time. Like Vici has to win the lanes.
This is one of the few teams that actually still does this, where they pick that third core who's not really like a control or utility type of core. When they run 11 on like the Razor, like this is something that only this team really does, because they tend to go for these very slow like tri-core lineups sometimes, and I guess they feel they have an opening to do so this game.
And we'll see. Manette, this is a tough. Like this is one of those drafts. It's really hard to predict. It's all about what the team feels like they're most comfortable with.
Wyvern, do you think Wyvern can work?
It could, but I don't know. I think they might go for something like a Dazzle, to be honest, and some sort of save though, or Disruptor.
Choose
That
your
works.
hero.
It makes sense. It gives them a lot of ability to catch heroes around the map. I actually really like it against the Lone Druid because you just find him, and it allows them to get extra kills if they are able to keep the tempo up with their tri-core Omni DK.
But he's
Gyro.
gonna have like maybe a little bit trouble early. Say if the Lone Druid's offlane with maybe the Bane,
Yeah.
or either the Dark Widow. I don't see the Disruptor doing anything there.
Yeah. Same with Nyx. It's like a very weak hero until level 6. You don't really offer much in a laning phase.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, very tough one. Okay, draft is done. Two teams are almost ready to get underway in the upper bracket semi-final. Time to get some predictions from our three panel members. Jack.
I think VG's lineup is a little bit too greedy, and I think given how well Mineski have been playing, they will be able to punish it. So I'm going with Mineski in game 1.
Okay, Winter.
I think they have the Mineski has the much more balanced draft, and I'm agreeing with Jack that their opponents, VG, have a very, very greedy draft. So I'm going with Mineski.
I think it's all going to come down to the laning phase. Hard to say. I feel like Mineski's got the easier time winning the game. They have the more balanced draft.
But their lanes are weaker.
No, the X factor is that both Jack and Winner just selected them to win. So I'm going with Vici
You're
Gaming.
just looking for a reason. I could tell the wheels were turning there.
I like this. It's getting feistier. The longer the days, the more fights we get on the panel. That can only lead to one good thing. We are going to head back to the arena now for our final series, the first game of which is about to begin.
Thank you so much, Red Eye. Here, arena side with my good buddy Lacoste. Are you ready to bring in the action? It's Mineski versus Vici Gaming. Panel mostly favoring Mineski on this one. What's your hot take?
Wait, we're on the camera.
Oh my God, he kissed me!
All right, we're not gonna yell. We'll be calm, clown, and witty.
Woo. So this is a very, I don't want to say the word boring, but this is a very by-the-book set of drafts here for both teams. Obviously very objective forward and, you know, just very clean. But what do you think about the laning phase here? Who has the advantage on paper?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Vici Gaming, all three actually cores need a lot of time to come online, especially Lone Druid. I think Mineski's lanes are going to be stronger, even though you have a Lone Druid who is a self-sustainable core, and Life Stealer, they're going to put him on the bottom lane, what it seems to. Nyx Assassin with the Boots of Speed. Early pickup. Trying to plant some deep wards, maybe even try to get a kill on someone.
Mineski on the prowl. We know them to be very fast-paced throughout this tournament, along with their C brothers TNC. Vici Gaming, though, have really decided to turn it up now later into the tournament. And we'll have to see if their comfort pickups are going to be enough to take out one of the more unorthodox styles that Mineski will typically bring. But again, I look at their draft, it doesn't really feel like that there's going to be a lot of bull rush, a lot of flashy plays here. Just more, let's get through the laning phase and let's, let our draft do what it does best. Break through buildings and break our opponent's will.
They are already swapping the lanes. Omni Knight deeping to a bottom lane. And also there's a deep ward from Vici Gaming on the bottom lane, which provides a lot of vision. I mean, it's not going to be very useful if they want to have Lone Druid against the Omni Knight.
Lone Druid's taking the long road there, but he'll eventually show up. This first wave will be all ice, ice, ice. Meanwhile, mid lane, DK versus Death Prophet. I'm not expecting a whole lot of bloodshed here, but if one of these two do leave the lane, we could see some towers fall. We got 3 lanes, but 2 eyes, so try your best to keep the action here. Top, though, very frisky action breaking out, and a lot of focus going to be set as they get the takedown in Ninja Boogie. He'll be the first to fall. Lanham picks up your first blood on that Dark Willow. Jabs going for the TP out, and they'll get it. One more right click, and the crowd comes alive.
Yeah, this tri-lane is really strong. I love Dark Willows in the tri-lane. It's pretty hard to take down. You have a Cursed Crown, which you can cast on one hero, and if they clump up together, that's a double-man stun for a very long time.
Bottom lane now, rotation in from our Gyrocopter. It's Mushi showing up with an early rocket. Gets the knock on the noggin right there of the Lone Druid. And we're going to continue to see these audible rotations a bit. Ice, Ice, Ice takes his leave and will join the top lane here as the rest of Mineski look to congregate to the side of the Gyrocopter. So we'll see if a response is going to be there for Vici Gaming. I imagine so. I already see Lanham doing that cross-country trip all the way down south.
Yeah, he's going to pick up the Bounty Rune, and the Lone Druid will TP top. They want to have that matchup, Lone Druid against the Omni Knight. And as you mentioned, the mid lane, not too much action going on. Probably watching the paint drying would be more interesting.
Very true. We'll probably jinx them and something may break out in a moment. But yeah, for now, we're expecting a pretty clean standard matchup on that front. We want to keep eyes towards the action here on the bottom. Certainly as they're going to want to get themselves into play and contention already towards that side pole camp. Lanham and Fenrir will be able to guard it out. Jabs from the high ground will leech the XP and maybe try to snipe a last hit here and there. He's winding up the Impale.
And he gets it.
Yep, one nice grab. Him and Ninja Boogie will benefit from that a bit. And they turn their rotation now to Paparazzi here. The early Thunder Strike. Force him within the trees. They'll just try to zone him back and out of the lane. A good try-on-try bit of action here.
Yeah, with only level 1 Flak Canyon in the 3 versus 3 scenarios, the Gyro deals a ton of damage with it. 3 extra attacks.
Yep, there he goes right there. Popping off the shots right now, even on the Fenrir, who's way outside the scope of the lane. And he'll begin his zoning of the fellow support. Very frisky stuff to break out early. And as that's happening, the top lane, both of them just kind of pulling waves from each side. Doing their own bit of farming, nowhere near each other.
Yeah, we're not going to watch top lane
or mid lane.
Yeah, we're just going to focus on the bottom lane.
Those 2 lanes are going to need a lot of time and nourishment before they become exciting, that's for sure. Unless they do beneficial rotations. It's more about the bottom lane pull action here. Support's dueling it out a bit. Leaving their cores into the lane to try to get the bulk of the XP.
Yeah, both the cores on the bottom lane have pretty much the same CS, okay.
Okay, here we go. Omni Knight, a.k.a. Ice, Ice, Ice. Feeling a bit frisky here, but bottom, they're making the move for Mushi. Line it up with the kinetic field, they'll be able to bring them down. Vici continue their assault as they move forward, looking to go for jabs. They get some right-click damage in, but another one for Vici as they move ahead now 3-0.
Yeah, actually the tri-lane from Mineski is not that strong at all. The only one who contributes to the lane is Gyro. Disruptor is really weak in 2 versus 2 scenarios, especially in 3 versus 3, and the Nyx Assassin doesn't provide that much either.
They definitely would need more time, more levels to have the extra tools to be able to go for the setup, but Vici Gaming using all that early game advantage at the moment. A move being made now as they look for the setup onto Jabs. So Carapace stun them back, look to go for the TP out, and he'll be successful. Good heads-up play for him. He is going to have to head all the way back to the base, though.
Meanwhile, on the mid lane, nothing is happening. Calm down.
Psych me out right there. It's getting down and gritty. 30-6 for Moon DK, 26-3 for Ori's Death Prophet.
Yeah, Lone Druid against the Omni Knight, of course, Lone Druid has the upper hand, has that extra unit that he can work with, so we can expect more denies coming his way.
But Vici's support staff has left the bottom lane for now as it's already pushed well into the tower. Free farm for Paparazzi to work with. We'll see if they take their return. This is all happening, of course, under the watchful eye of Mineski that have that nice high ground ward to watch the support rotations. They'll know that they're waiting in the pocket.
Yeah, I expect the Vici supports to rotate because they have two good heroes who can pressure the tower, and Siege Creep just spawned. They have DP and Lone Druid. I mean, on the other side, you have a Dragon Knight who also wants to pressure the tower as early as possible. Nice scan coming out from Dire, so Ori needs that someone is lurking there.
Jabs is trying to encroach on this mid lane a bit, but look who else is making their own approach. Lanham and Fenrir are smoked up, and they are, very close. Jabs almost able to pop the smoke from the high ground. He plants his own ward. Approach is going to have to change here. It looks like Lanham's going to take the low road, while Fenrir takes the high road here.
Ninja Boogie already pinged out the positioning of Dark Willow, but coming out from Vici, so they want to pressure the mid with these two wards.
Find a way in, it doesn't look like it. They just move on this expedition to plant down that bit of vision, and they may take their return back to the lane. But they've also spotted out Jabs here, and it looked like they were trying to see if they could pincer. But Jabs is going to take his business back to the mid lane, and Vici will take their business all the way down south here. Could be trouble possibly, though, for Ninja Boogie if they want to get the grab onto this nearby Disruptor support. Looks like he spots them out.
Yeah, but it's not too much happening as expected. I mean, you can look at the heroes. The DP on the mid lane getting pressured a little bit with Nyx Assassin, but Nyx Assassin is not a hero that ganks really well early on. I mean, now with the Invis, that could change. Mid lane, though.
All right.
Just scratching the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, nothing too serious here. I mean, Dragon Knight will commit his first Elder Dragon form of the game and begin to torch up some wolves nearby for some extra bit of farm. Meanwhile, top lane, Jabs helps get the last hit in, and a dunking heal comes out from Ice Ice Ice. Will secure the takedown of the Lone Druid and get Mineski on the board with 1 kill.
Yeah, I guess Lone Druid was not being afraid of getting ganked because he has double Savage Roar, but with Nyx Assassin Invis, it's guess he didn't expect that bottom lane Disruptor.
Yep, they hit him with the stun, with the Nightmare, and Paparazzi will come in to finish the job. Ninja Boogie knows that he's done for, tries to get off as much damage as he can on the Lanham, but obviously not going to be doing a whole lot. And another kill for Vici. This one to Paparazzi, the best thing they could ask for, and they'll even cut the wave. Poor Mushi stuck in a bit of a pickle, and look who's hunting for him. Paparazzi roaming through the trees. A rotation's coming in, though, from our Nyx Assassin friend. But Mushi's not farming. That's the downside here. Now he does a little bit of the Rocket Barrage, but it might be too much. He needs some help. Jabzo spotted and caught within a maze. Now an additional reinforcement. Oh my goodness, where'd she come from? Running right in with a haste rune, showing up with a soul siphon, begins to put attention right on the Mushi. Mushi gets the help with the repel as Ice 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 comes into the playing field. Lots of attention towards the bottom lane now. They trade cores on each side. Jabs very low. Has to pop the wand to heal on up. This is your DP ultimate now.
Yeah, meanwhile, Dragon Knight on the mid lane putting a lot of pressure on that tower. This is the second ulti that he's using. Still 40 seconds left.
Gets the stun out. And Paparazzi wants to swing at the dragon a bit. Happy to go toe-to-toe here. More rotations coming over. Lanham could be swinging in from behind. Drops down the Bramble Maze. Moon, body blocked here. The Butterfly not letting him pass. And now with Ori in on the action, can they stop his TP? No.
What a hero. They don't have anything to stop the TPs with once they use the Curse Crown as an initiation.
Bottom. Attention on defend rear. Disruptor has the glimpse if he needs to pull him back, and he will. Can they finish him off, though, with right clicks? I don't think so. They need more. They can't quite get it. The stun misses. And now Paparazzi waddles on in. Open wounds. Ninja Boogie has nothing else to be able to make it away. Can he eat his way through the trees? It looks like he'll be fine.
We see so many body blocks these days. If you don't have a hero with a stun, just body block him.
Should get the job done. See top lane now. Rocket out on the Lone Druid. He'll dish out the Savage Roar to create a little space. Should be good enough. And then, you know, Ice continues to work his way through this top lane. He makes that brief cameo on the bottom lane fight, but he's been really farming forward. Almost level 8.5. Already has the phase boots, and it looks like he's going to move that into the drums thereafter.
Yeah, Young 11 already has Helm of the Dominator, that extra creep that he can work with, pressure the tower, and or just feed away the gold.
Rooting it out right now. Ice. 1 more second for the Soul Ring if he needs to use it. Uh-oh, Lanham's coming. Drops down the maze, but he's got the repel, but they got right clicks. They need 1 more. They got it. 11. Going to be able to pick that one up. Vici Gaming continued their early game assault. Their mid lane, though. Nice deny. Fenrir.
I love how Lanham played throughout this whole DAC, besides that one Lion game. But his Dark Willow has been on point. Like, he's playing so greedy, but it's paying off. He's in 6 out of 6 kills so far.
Vici Gaming overall have really started to step things up as they progress through this tournament. And they will also score a tower at the top. 11 gets that last hit. And we'll be pushing that much closer.
Oh, greed. Oh, greed at its finest. Oof. He didn't want to go for stun right away. Wanted the damage from Vendetta.
Fortunately, cost them on that one. Look who's hanging on this bottom lane now. It's Ori. Back in action with the Death Prophet ulti here. Will the Exorcism be committed to go for the finish on this tier 1?
They want to use this Omni Knight, who has level 4 heal, almost level 9. Will need to get 1 point in Guardian Angel to mitigate the damage coming out from DP ulti.
Just got level 9, and he does put a point into the GA. Fortify comes out, and Mineski rotate most over, with the exception of the DK, who does not have a TP to come in. They quickly blow up Lanham. Dark Willow out, and poor Jabs is trapped within the trees. He will also pay the price. Supports each way.
Those are not allied creeps.
Here comes DK now, the TP off cooldown, looking to come into action. A lot of damage onto Ice. Death Prophet ulti here for a job, and that job is breaking through this tower if possible. Mineski not looking to let it happen, so looks like Paparazzi's gonna take his leave up towards the top lane.
Oh, look at the wards on bottom lane. You have 3 obs wards drop. One is gonna run out pretty soon.
Yeah, I was going to say a couple there from Mineski, but they refresh the new ward. They're looking to go for a finish on the bear. Lots of extra damage, but the first grip comes out from Fenrir, and he will get the secured takedown of Ice. Oh no! A root as well onto Moo. Mushi going to be forced to dish out the call down and the flat cannon. Getting off some good damage. Vici, though, not really feeling it. Oh, just scratching at him a bit, but nothing too serious here from Mineski.
Yeah, Omni Knight should be careful about his positioning. The silence, early silence actually, coming out from DP, and the great grip from Bane just to keep him in place. They have nothing to stop the grip if they don't have the vision, though. They could have used the glimpse.
But a good catch, and Fenrir's good positioning from behind the tower means it's too hard for Mineski to get in there. And now Mineski just kind of walking around a bit of a disarray. They want to leave Moon in the lane, but they don't know how much of a commitment they have to put here to stop Vici Gaming from moving forward. All right, Lanham and DP.
I love the strat coming out from Vici. It's you want to fight. We don't want to fight. They use double Savage Roar. They use Terrorize just to knock you off. Only thing they're missing is Queen of Pain level 25.
Does feel like Vici with those tools are able to kind of dictate what fights they want to take and what fights they don't want to take. This one seems like a good one. Paparazzi able to get the finish onto Jabs in the meantime, but we continue witness here as they get the double takedown. Now on Moon. Vici, stellar early game already.
Yeah, and they want to keep the pressure. If you look at the items on Lone Druid, he went for Ring of Aquila. So the bear will just be the frontliner, and that's it. He's going to go for range build. Attack range talent picked up. Want to go for Mjolnir as well. They want to keep the pressure with the DP, with the Lifestealer, who already has armlet, and they're going to deal a ton of damage once he gets that Deso up.
Now Vici towards the mid lane. They dish out a scan right behind the tower. It's not going to find any reads, but they're going to know that they can comfortably move in and take yet another objective and put even more money in the bank, even taking the extra catapult to get the job done. Stun out from Jabs could lead to his own demise. They put him to sleep. Meanwhile, they put their attention on the Ice. Glimpse all the way back there, grabs Fenrir in a bit of an awkward spot, and he gets shot on down. It's Ice who picks up the last hit with the Purification. Tower not going to be denied. Ori grabs that one, and now they're thinking about re-engaging here. A hard move in. A pop out from the Lifestealer. Full force onto Moon, the Dragon Knight. Gonna get slayed. Follow-up takedown looks like to be here for Ice. He can't even Guardian Angel. The man is silenced and finished.
Yeah, they're doing such a good job controlling the Omni Knight. First with the Silence, then with the Yule Scepter, so he can't cast any spell. Plus the Terrorize, I'm not sure if it hit or not. Also, Bane was caught before that fight, so Vici Gaming has so much options to control this fight with. Like, they have a Terrorize, this double Savage Roar, a Sleep to save, so Bane should be careful about his positioning, which opens up the Roche as well. Next time they have a DP ulti or just take a fight and get 2 down from Mineski, they could easily go for a Roche.
I mean, that's everything that Vici can do, but what can we say about Mineski? What could they do? It feels like they certainly can't take a fight at this moment. It doesn't feel like they can find a way to push even into taking some tier 1 towers.
Yeah, it's hard to start a fight, especially if they have a sentry ward, so they're gonna need to get the mobility item on a DK, either a Blink Dagger or a Shadow Blade, and the hero that they want to kill first is definitely a Dark Willow, or get on top of Lone Druid if possible, because he doesn't still have a true form, so he's not that tanky.
Here's that replay. It looked like it was starting okay for Mineski, but as they chased forward, Vici just kind of backpedaled a bit, waited, and then re-engaged. And at that point, they just swept right through the team of Mineski. And as mentioned, controlled that Omni Knight, so he really could not offer any sort of support assistance. Looks like back to a bit of a split up here from both sides. Jabs, now has that Vendetta, is trying to stalk out maybe any sort of easy option. But Fenrir does not care to hang around. They'll sacrifice this tower.
Yeah, they just want to keep the pressure on side of Vici. They don't have the best vision in this area, but it feels like they feel that Mineski still can take a fight, so they're not fully committing to it.
While Mineski do get that finish of the tier 1, we see pressure here, and a tier 2 taken from Vici. This enhances their lead now. 6K, 6K or so.
So Dragon Knight has his Blink Dagger, and the Dark Willow, I love this build on Lanham. He doesn't go for Veil, he just goes straight Blink Dagger. I mean, he didn't buy it, but that's what he has queued up. So he can be the one dealing the damage. We already saw in one of the previous games where he gets on top of Gyrocopter and just destroys him. And that also gives you better positioning for Bramble Maze and also the Cursed Ground.
Uh-oh, Fiend's Grip. A good catch onto Jabs. With assistance, of course, from the Sentry, it looks like.
Yeah, they can see a Dragon Knight who already used the Dragon form. This deep ward near their Ancients provide so much vision, especially if they decide to go for a Roche. Double damage is on DP, but they don't want to commit yet. Level 2 Exorcism will deal a ton of damage in the fight. Bottom lane.
Baiting him in. Baiting in 11 if possible. Now the jump of Moon. And they'll even commit the Static Storm. A successful takedown earns Mineski a 4 times killing streak bounty. That one going to go in the pocket of, well, Ninja Boogie.
Yeah, that's a Deso. They know that the Static Storm is down and the Dragon Knight doesn't have a form, so they can't take the fight. They immediately go to Roche Pit. With that fresh Deso and DP ulti, this Roche is going to melt. And look at the positioning from Dark Willow. He just wants to break the smoke. If possible, just use the Terrorize, Crown I mean, Bramble Maze, really hard to fight into Dark Willow near the Roche pit.
With assistance of that Exorcism. And of course, the Deso, Roche falls very fast. And now, with an Aegis on the side of Vici Gaming, it feels like the ball is in their court. Jabs stalking things out pretty deep. We'll spot Paparazzi here. Do they want to rotate over and ambush him?
Yeah, Omnine doesn't have any defensive items right now, but with the pickup Blink Dagger on Dark Willow, they can use Nyx's Bomb with it. Like, Dark Willow can blink in, Nyx uses Infest, then she goes into Shadow Realm and you can't fight her.
What would you call that? The Bramble Bomb? Oh, top lane. Ninja Boogie.
Shadow Bomb.
Shadow Bomb? Yeah, I like that. Dark Bomb. BKB now picked up for the DP. A nice early defensive item pickup. Anchor up a bit. As if she wasn't hard enough to bring down. And frantic flash farming to come out here from Mineski side as well. Uh-oh. Looks like Fenrir on his own little mission. A warding expedition, I imagine. Gets spotted. Gets taken down. Not the worst thing in the world for Vici Gaming. He is their lowest net worth. He is the lowest net worth in the game, so doesn't hand over too much.
Yeah, they don't have any vision in the Radiant Forest. One of those wards got devoured and he couldn't place any. But I can see Vici Gaming going aggressive in the next 2 minutes. They want to use this Aegis on a lifestealer, which is pretty good for sieging.
Yeah, Ice was dancing things out with Lanham a bit. Finds a corner to repel and TP away. We'll avoid the trouble there. And he is going straight Radiance on that Omni Knight. He actually already has the Sacred Relic. I didn't notice that. So that may help a bit. Lots of farm potential coming his way. Meanwhile, we see Mineski charging forward, going back on the objective path here. We'll get the finish of a tier 1. Uh-oh. Nice jump play to go right on top of 11's head. They'll be able to go for the bursting finish, but Vici want to counter.
Oh, DP was sent back. She committed ulti.
Nice. Now she's sent back all the way packing towards the top lane here. They get a sleep setup, but Ice will get assistance on the jabs, and now the DP's like, well, what the hell am I going to do with my ulti now? So go farm with it.
Yeah, they don't have the best catch on side of Vici, besides that grip. Like, none of these heroes are that mobile, don't have any stuns. So Mineski wants to play game for another 20-30 minutes. They don't feel they're in a good position right now, so they are investing into Radiance, which will mitigate a lot of right-click damage from the Lifestealer with that mischance and the Lone Druid, and it also gives Omni Knight a good scaling game. He's gonna need to get a defensive item, definitely. Either a Force Staff to position himself, or maybe Eon Disc so they can burst him with the Bane's Grip.
Spotted Ninja Boogie, of course, with that ward. And that will be a quick blow up right there from Paparazzi. Little freebie. And they're going to take their business right through the mid lane. Looks like Ninja Boogie draws the plan out. And a defense may need to be there. Meanwhile, Lanham is infested. And we could see the Willow Bomb.
The Dark Bomb.
The Dark Bomb. The Bramble Bomb.
So Dragon Knight with the BKB.
Yep. Ice has his Radiance, and they're moving in. Jab sets it up, and they look to get immediate focus on the Lanham. He goes into Shadow Realm, barely holding on. But as he makes his return, it looks like they should be able to go for the finish. The first casualty of this one. And now focus, heavy focus, onto 11. He goes down yet again. Stag Storm dropped. Not going to find the biggest target there. Meanwhile, Paparazzi looking to go for a swinging. They got the Yules to cancel the TP, but it looks like they will be able to burn through that first Aegis. On his return, he jumps in, looking to go for the grab onto Ice. Glimpse back, though, from Ninja Boogie will create the space here. And as the dust settles, it's a 2-for-1 trade.
They went
3-for-1 if you count the Aegis.
Yeah, they went all in with the items, and if Dark Willow is the one who's being engaged on, this fight is not gonna be good for Vici Gaming. They also picked up a a Blink Dagger on a Life Stealer, so they want to get on top of Disruptor, take him down quickly, and get on top of the Omni Knight, because he doesn't have a defensive item right now.
Feels like Vici are still trying to play a very high tempo kind of a game with their lineup here based on the items. Like, they're not looking to allow Mineski to have the clock.
Yeah, they only need Lone Druid to get his Blink Dagger. They have 3 Blink Daggers on their side. If they don't take good fights, this could easily backfire.
We'll see. As things pan out, we have Mineski back on the assault yet again. They smoke things up and head on south. An early scan. Does fly out. Radiant find no detection on one side, but they're also not finding a target to get the jump on.
Oh, what a play.
I jinxed them too soon. An immediate move in for Paparazzi. And they're going to get that kill too. Things suddenly coming together a lot nicely for Mineski.
Disruptor with that Static Storm, so Nikes can't use the Rage.
Oh, Rocket now on to 11 next. They catch him with the stun. They try to send him away. Moon pops the BKB and begins to unload the damage. That's going to be one takedown. Jabs could be next. Nice grab there from Ori with the Crypt Swarm. He'll get it done. Follow-up Purification finish to take out Fenrir. And bodies begin to drop as Lanham will also go down. And it looks like this could turn into yet a 5-man wipe. Going the way of Mineski and a double kill for Moon. Looks like Mineski are right back in the ball game with a 1K net worth advantage. This one's been flipped right back around.
Yeah, the Mineski's decision-making was on point, and Nikes was playing way too cocky. They're just trying to juke with them with that Ancient Prowler.
Oh my, I think Vici Gaming getting a little ahead of themselves. Some of these decisions on the items and decision-makings across the map may be too laxed here for Vici. And now suddenly, their base under a little bit of assault. Mineski will pull off with their winnings, though. They plant a couple of deep wards here.
Now let's check the replay. I mean, without Nikes, they don't have enough damage. I'm surprised that they actually decided to take that fight. 11 with this build doesn't actually deal that much damage. He has a Maelstrom, which deals magical damage, so it goes through DK's high armor. But still, they can't take the fight without Lifestealer.
Yep. A little too spread across the board here. And as we see, even the grab on the DP at the end, it's a lot of money. Oh, Lanham, not happy about that. Now it's going to be more of an uphill battle for Vici to get themselves into this. I wonder if they're going to take the opportunity to get back into playing the economy game, or if they're going to just try to see if they can get some sort of gank setup in hopes of taking the game back their way.
Yeah, Mineski is not in a rush anymore. Now that they have a lead and with the items that Vici picked up, they're not afraid of taking this for the next 10, 20, maybe even half an hour if needed. They just want to farm up because Omni Knight has a Radiance, scales really well into the late game. You have a Gyro who's on top of net worth now, and Roche will respawn in 3 minutes, pretty long respawn time.
They don't know that, though, and I'm sure Vici want to maintain order if possible, go for a good fight here, and hope to move into that Roche territory. Oh, jabs, could spot them out. They pop the dust, but he already hits him with a stun. This could be great for Mineski. Jump in from Ori with the BKB. Static Storm going to be dropped. They quickly take out Lanham. It will cost them jabs out in the return. Buyback comes out from Lamb to get back in the action. They put their full chase now onto Ori. Mineski will finish off the Death Prophet. Paparazzi trying to swing, but he knows it's going to be no good. Vici may be forced to turn and run, but they're hoping for a finish onto Moon if possible. With Lanham coming back into action, he's able to secure it. This one may look nice for Vici. A double kill already, and Ice 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 will go down next. Vici Gaming back into it now. Triple kill for Paparazzi.
Yeah, it feels like if team commits too hard, close to enemy base, you need to be afraid of buybacks. We saw in the previous series against the Liquid 2 of the cores bought back, 2 supports actually bought back, one Underlord and one, not sure which one was it, and they turned the fight and it actually turned the game around. So this buyback from Lanham is actually so good.
I know you were calling before that it may be in Mineski's best interest to put focus onto Lanham early in the fight. They did exactly that. It looked great. They jabs there in a great position, spots the smoke, stuns him up, and they're jumping from Moon, and it looks all good. They get the quick burst onto that Dark Willow, but he comes right back into action, and they put a lot of their time and focus here onto Ori to finish him off. but they're eating so much damage.
Yeah, I expect Ori maybe to get Eon Disc at 1 point. Same goes for Omni Knight. What does he have? Nothing. He has Lotus Orb queued up. That's a good way to deal with Fiend's Grip, with the Silence, with the Open Wounds from Lifestealer, and it gives you tankiness against the DP ulti. So with the Nullifier on Nyx, now that he has that Blink Dagger, he can get on top of Omni Knight, even though he doesn't have any items. So they can even burst down Dragon Knight. So that's a BKB. That's a good defensive item, but Lifestealer can still nullify it.
Yep. The Bear to scout things out here. Towards the high ground to see what Mineski could be up to. Obviously a lot of attention towards this Roche pit. It's about that time. Vici look to clear the area if possible. Scouting things out to the high ground.
Same ward placed, and it's being pinged out by Ninja Boogie.
Yep, they'll take out the ward. Vici, I don't think, are going to feel comfortable moving into this Roche unless they can either get a hard push down this lane or take a promising fight.
Ideally for Vici would be to get the Dark Bomb on top of Omni Knight, to get that Nullifier on him and just blow him up before the fight starts. So they see that he went for a BKB, so probably doesn't have a buyback, which he doesn't.
He has his Guardian Angel back up, but like you mentioned, if they're able to get the jump onto him, Mineski could lose out on their key paramedic.
Yeah, Bane is also doing a good job in fights, staying behind, just controlling that Dragon Knight so that his BKB goes down. After his BKB is down, they can actually deal damage to him. What do we have? Another smoke, maybe coming out from Vici.
Mineski already using one of their own to work through Vici's neck of the woods. They're not going to find anybody. Vici already posture themselves back indoors.
Yeah, Ogre Bruiser scouting that Roche just spawned, so I expect smoke coming out. That's 2 BKBs plus you have a Rage. A lot of magical damage on side of Mineski. Next Assassin will be the frontliner, just trying to scout out the positioning from Vici, but seems like they're going to go around. All right, look at the drawings on the minimap.
Yeah, looks like a football huddle right now as they try to figure out what the best game plan is.
Smoke for smoke.
Yes, yes, low ground for Vici. Mineski heading way up north at this point. And we're going to see a little bit of a rope-a-dope.
BAC. Look at the pings coming out from Ninja Boogie.
Look at this. They just go round and round. It's like a do-si-do. Straight up country dance happening here. Lanham into pit. And then the DK jumps in, looking to go for Lanham. He'll have no buyback this time. BKB going to be popped, but they briefly put him to sleep. He's going to be out for a minute. Full attention onto Ori. This looks like Mineski's time. Guardian Angel already going to be committed, and they blow up the Death Prophet. Now moving on forward, taking names. 11 to the high ground, trying to retreat, but he's not going to be able to make it too far. Mineski take this fight and could take the Roche. Back and forth we go.
Yeah, Vici Gaming can't allow that to happen. Lanham is the key for this team fight to succeed. Like using Bedlam, Terrorize, Curse Crown, he should not be engaged on. Good job by Dragon Knight. He tried to keep him alive with the Bane. Maybe if he unslept him, he could have used the Shadow Realm.
But such an interesting set of events leading up to that. The smokes and constant rotations, it certainly felt like, at least for Vici's side, they didn't really have a good idea of where Mineski were. And so Lanham, bold and brave, jumped into that Roche pit and was immediately ganked on. And now Mineski just reaping in all the rewards. They take the fight, they take the Roche, and here they come down mid lane as they claim a tier 2.
They're going to have a hard time focusing this Gyro. He has level 20 talent movement speed, so he's hasted pretty much all the time and has that Butterfly. They have nothing that goes through Butterfly. Nothing that pierces that evasion. I mean, they have Exorcism, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, nothing queued up, it would appear, to help deal with it. See a Shiva's in queue here for Death Prophet. A Lifestealer has an AC, and, well, Lone Druid, there we go. He's the guy with the MKB.
Yeah, just queue it up. That's not a real MKB. If you queue up MKB, it doesn't actually go through the evasion, just for your info.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Son of a gun. Yeah, he obviously has some time to spend on the farm before he can take it. But Mineski back into a coasting position, taking the biggest advantage of the game so far, and now they smoke. They're looking to hold that advantage here and take a fight with that Aegis. Cheese is in the pocket of DK. Mushi sports the extra life. They are rotating down to the bottom. That's where 11's at. And Paparazzi, but no, they cut corners instead. Head right up on through here, maybe to hopefully catch some backliners on the Vici Gaming side.
Another good lane ward placed by Ninja Boogie.
We'll spot things out if Vici do, step outside the front door on either mid or bottom lane. You can tell that Mineski are trying to take the map over and get the chokehold on the Vici Gaming if possible. Starve them out.
Yeah, Vici is doing a good job just splitting the map because they don't have nothing to stop Lifestealer's Rage TP.
The Ice take care of that push towards the bottom lane. At first he had queued up with Shivas, but now it looks like Crimson Guard is going to be the choice.
Yeah, Crimson Guard's been so popular throughout the DAC, especially on Underlord. We saw it even on Sanking. No blink Sanking, which I really like that game. So it's going to mitigate a lot of right-click damage coming out from that bear and from Lifestealer as well. Also DPLT.
All right, Mineski score the top tier 2. That's the final outer tower for Vici Gaming. And they have a little bit of time left here, which I imagine before the Aegis could be reclaimed. Are they going to try to get a hold of this honey right here of this bear?
Yeah, that's just the bear, no items on him.
300 gold though, looks like it's going to be pocketed up, I believe, by Mushi. Get that ogre out of here too. Little son of a gun.
So with that Shiva's Guard picked up on a Death Prophet, if she initiates with the Blink BKB Shiva's Guard, it will give vision, so they can use the Dark Bomb and maybe try to focus Omni Knight because he has no items on him. I mean defensive items. If they nullify a BKB, Cheese is on Dragonite and there's a Gyro with Aegis. Has enough gold to buy full Satanic.
See what Mineski opt to do here. You got to feel that their tension is towards taking a fight if possible, and if they can't find any openings outside the base of Vici, they might just consider moving in and going for a push. Oh, a jump-in opportunity. Follow up the Static Storm. They found Paparazzi. Trying to go for the save, but he's not going to be saved at all. And now 76 seconds, no buyback on your Paparazzi Lifestealer. Moon begins to chunk away with Mushi onto this tier 3, and it could be trouble for Vici.
They won't have enough damage to take a fight, so they need to wait 60 seconds or just try to split the map with the Lone Druid.
I don't know. They're trying to split the pressure on that top lane, but it's going to cost them a set of racks, it would appear.
Nothing they can do about it. No damage without the Lifestealer.
Heal on the Mushi a bit.
Oh, look at the positioning from Nyx Assassin, already from behind, waiting someone to TP to that tier 3 tower.
11's going in on the racks at the top lane too. So we're seeing a bit of a split. Meanwhile, DP moving in, trying to cancel out anything they can. They got a hold of Moon, and they'll take out the DK. And 11 makes it out. His bear not so lucky.
Good decision, again, from Vici Gaming. Nothing to pierce through the BKB to stop the TPs. So they should just try to split the map. Aegis is gone from Gyro, and they even got the return kill. I mean, they lost the melee Raxes. Sadly for them, Young 11 didn't have enough damage to take down the Mineski ones.
Still not a total loss there for Vici. I think they did a nice job making the most out of a situation where Paparazzi was caught just outside that front door. And they'll get back on the farm.
Omni Knight, in my opinion, should have itemized differently because he has Lotus Orb and Black King Bar. If they still use Nullifier on him, he can still die. Like, they will try to initiate on Omni with the Nullifier, and you can't use both of those items. If he went for an Aeon Disc, the second item, then Aeon Disc procs.
Yeah.
But if you're low HP and your Aeon Disc procced, and then you use a Nullifier, you remove the Aeon Disc effect. But that's not going to happen because you're going to be probably full HP.
Oh, brief read on the scan there from Dyer. And they might know that Mineski are approaching the area. It's going to be a head-on collision. An immediate pop of the dust. They're looking to make the move onto Jabs. Bramble May is going to be took down from Lanham, but look at Ice. He's just running on forward, looking to go for Fenrir. Glimpse pull back as they look to bring down the Paparazzi Lifestealer. They will do so. Mineski swarm on in. Lanham also going to get dropped buyback from Jabs to swing this one out. Ori going toe-to-toe with Mushi. They will score the takedown on the gyrocopter. Ice barely holding on to this one. Fenrir wants to move in for the finish, but he's not going to be able to get it. Meanwhile, 11. TP's out. He is the lone survivor. And Mineski take another promising fight. A triple kill for Moon.
Again, they locked down Lifestealer before the fight even starts. The only thing he used was a nullifier on Nyx Assassin, so he can't use the Force Staff nor the Ghost Scepter. Then Omni Knight comes with the Repel and pretty much cancels everything they did.
And Vici are never finding those opportunities that you're calling out for. A jump onto Ice. I mean, with these kind of awkward engagements, it just seems so frantic that you don't even know where the Omni Knight could be. You're just trying to deal with what's right in front of you. And look at Moon go to work on this bottom tier 3. They're going to force out a buyback now from Ori. He jumps in with the Shivas, but Moon already jumped forward with his Dragon Tail onto 11. A glimpse send back puts Lanham back inside the base. BKB's popped. They're looking to move in for 11. Meanwhile, Ori does get the finish on the Ninja Boogie, but they put their attention now onto Ori. Trying to burst down. Terrorize from Lanham.
3-man Terrorize.
Pushes him back and away, and it's going to be enough to force Mineski back. And here comes the round 2 from Vici Gaming. They'll be able to get the finish on the Ice. Jabs, though. Looking to go for the finish. Can't quite get Ori. Ori still lives. Ori running back into the base. They finally get him down. But it's costing Mineski a whole lot. They lose 4.
Oh, man.
Make it 5.
This game back and forth. They didn't even take the tier 3 tower on the bottom lane. A bit too greedy play. The Dragon Knight was out of position. I hope we're going to see that fight again. I mean, while they were fighting, Lifestealer actually managed to get back into the game, but sadly for them, that Prophet, that's a dieback from her. Roche, spawn time will
So
respawn in
close.
50 seconds. Let's take another look at it again. So.
Yeah, Moon jumps in, they try to see if they can get 11 out of this one real quick, but it's just taking too much work.
That 3-man Terrorize from Lanham.
Oh, beautiful setup. After already being glimpsed back inside the fountain, he gets himself right back in the fight, and boom! Terrorize. Creates the space and allows Ori to begin to go to work here, and it's very awkward. Follow-up stun catch with that Cursed Crown. Lanham putting in the work. Meanwhile, pressure coming in. Moon forced to buy back. Vici on the assault again. Ninja Boogie going to get just gobbled up from Paparazzi, but they look to get their focus onto 11, and they'll get the finish on that side. While Paparazzi is finding supports on one side, Mineski move in to claim the core.
11 has a buyback. DP will be out. They're going to pick up that Invis rune, and they will be able to fight. They just saw that Roche spawn, so 11 will probably buy back, and they will try to go for it. Yep.
DD on the Mushi.
Lanham has that Eon Disc, so it's going to be pretty hard to take down Dark Willow. They have nothing to dispel the Eon Disc effect.
Comes Mineski right back towards Roche's neighborhood here. Kinetic, they're going right in. Paparazzi just on the outside here. Ninja Boogie waits. Jabs moves in. They spot Jabs with that Sentry Ward. Tries to force himself out and away. Lotus Orb for assistance. Obviously, Mineski have to know Vici's just on the outside. This Roche is getting low. They're deciding to move in. Ori pops everything he's got to move in and is able to take down Jabs. They're looking to move inside. Aegis is going to be claimed for Mushi, though. This one belongs to Mineski. Now Guardian Angel comes out. Mushi locked in his spot with the Fiend's Grip. It looks like he'll lose his first life, but he's trying to fight through it. He's living, barely holding on as he flak cannons his way. Will finally be brought down. Vici Gaming lose 11. They still hold everyone else. Moving in is Lanham, trying to focus everything they got. The Chi's going to be gobbled down from Ice. He holds on barely. Ori trying to do the most that he can with the Exorcism. Soul siphons up, but now he's locked between two as they slowly beat him down. Moon steps in, and they should be able to get the finish.
Yeah, he's not going to have a buyback. That's a dieback from 11 as well. Dark Willow did not have her both ultis, sorry, 5 ultis up ready, so they couldn't take a fight. Oh, I mean, they need to get on top of Omni Knight, but they need to have a dust as well, because there's a Glimmer Cave, there's 2 Force Staffs on side of Mineski. The problem is that they got that Aegis and a cheese again.
Yep. And it took them a long time to kill that
man
Aegis.
kept
Yeah.
Gyro alive in that fight, plus a Scotty, which is the best late game item you can get against the Lifestealer.
The Fiend's grip was good too. It locked in nearly, it looked like the full duration onto Mushi, but just coming up short here. They're trying their best to force the supports back. They will get jabs, but yeah, here comes Mushi out with that life. They grip him up, but the Guardian Angel also from Ice Ice Ice. The support staff from Mineski holding strong, and now they're going to be able to claim the bottom set of racks. 2 sets down, 1 set remains between Mineski claiming the Megas. They ping out the top lane and looking to go for the finish. Vici Gaming, can they hold? Jumping already. Can they get the burst? Onto Fenrir, terrorized, but it's too late. Meanwhile, Paparazzi will be able to burst and take out Ice Ice Ice, but he's buying back. Mineski wants the finish.
He's steeping, has Boots of Travel.
And he's back. No Guardian Angel, obviously. Fortify used. Mushi hit with a Lotus Orb. Tries to go in on the tower. He's eating a lot of damage, but now the support comes out. They force him to the low ground.
They want to kill the shrines. They don't want to risk it now. BKB is on cooldown for Gyro. Dragonite form is running out.
He does have that refresher shard, but
yeah,
holds on to it.
I think they will just take it slow.
Yeah.
Lifestealer showed that he can solo kill Omni Knight with the Bloodthorn and the Nullifier. Nothing he can do about it. They just need to play more around Omni.
Smoke. I think it may have been pinged. I don't think there's a ward there, though. Mineski.
So Omni Knight has a refresher orb, which means 2 Guardian Angels, 2 BKBs.
Ooh, that sounds great. Unless he gets jumped on somehow from Vici Gaming. I don't know how they're going to do it. Vici need more time and maybe to try to go for a wraparound play, but I don't think they're going to get the opportunity. Jumping from Moon, but he doesn't find it. Now they give him a Lotus, and look at Cursed Crown onto Lanham's head.
Yeah, those Lotus Orbs are doing so much work. They have 2 on side of Mineski.
Definitely makes things extremely awkward for Vici. Situations like that. They are just trapped indoors. Mineski not pressing their luck at the moment. Feeling like time is on their side. Pull all the way back and away. There's also another shrine out there if they so choose to go for it.
Yeah, so let's check the levels. Level 25 on Omni Knight means plus 3 seconds repel duration. Homing missile charges on Gyro. Dragonite. 1.75 Dragon Tail stun. That's not what you usually see, but they want to keep this Lifestealer or just try to burst through the Dark Pillow, which is hard since she has Eon Disc.
Yeah.
Anyone else? 25 Lifestealer, 2 seconds rage duration. That's good for him. I'm happy for my Lifestealer. Dead Prophet with the haste exorcism, and another BKB for Young 11 with his talents.
Vici have a gem, so they move through their neck of the woods to de-ward and ward themselves to catch out any possible approach from Mineski towards that northern side if they're looking to go in for the finish of that final set of racks, but Mineski actually all the way on the southern front. They're going to probably roll in with this bottom wave a bit and go in for the shrine.
No one has a buyback besides Gyro at this point. So if Vici Gaming takes a good fight, they could easily close this game. They have enough damage.
Mineski pull off back towards this mid lane. Agnums complete onto Ninja Boogie. Obviously could mean good work if he lands that optimal Static Storm, nullifying pretty much all the items from Vici.
I'm not sure how Eon Disc works with Static Storm Aghanim Scepter. It probably triggers. It nullifies the item. Yeah, I think it should work like that. I've never seen it before.
We may see it here. For now, though, Mineski still walking in tandem with their bottom lane push. Vici just kind of farming what's available to him safely. But obviously, no, the tension is high. Vici drop one more fight. They're pretty much dropping this game. Mineski looking to move in with pretty much everything they could ask for with the exception of an extra life of Aegis. But they still have that refresher shard onto Ice Ice Ice.
Eon Disc should trigger. Definitely. So they have a refresher orb on Omni Knight. He wants to go for Aghanim Scepter. If he sells drums, which maybe he should, and just get that Aghanim Scepter gold, he already used the buyback, so it means that he's not going to have it for the next 4 minutes almost.
Double Ags Guardian Angel would be pretty nice for Ice 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 if he didn't have to worry too much about that positioning.
Catches this.
Ooh, nice read there from the Radiant. Are they going to go to the high ground on their side? Yes, they are. They're going to wait to see if Vici come right into their open arms. And it looks like Vici they're not even going to try to move forward with this. Back inside they go.
Yeah, Lone Druid went all in. Damage output, Daedalus and MKB. So they need to focus this guy in a fight. Otherwise, it could be a really good fight for Vici Gaming. If Vici Gaming gets on top of Omni Knight and they don't use any 4-staff Glimmer Capes, Vici will win the fight.
We'll have to see who's going to get the lead off on this one. Vici Gaming, we've seen this throughout the tournament, feel very reserved and methodical in their play, but they look for those openings that the opponents give them, and then they pounce. And they're hoping for Mineski to kind of make a bit of a mistake here. Oh, here comes Vici. Oh, goodness. Lanham is going to be the brave one. Moves up. Shadow Realm, BKB's pop. Ori wants to go right in. Pops his Exorcism, looks to go for the focus. They're going to have to settle for Mushi. Here comes Guardian Angel number 1. Mineski. They're going to work right now. Mushi laying it out with the flat cannon here, forcing Vici Gaming backing away, but no deaths yet. The bear is dropped, and the Exorcism's already used, so Mineski could backpedal a bit.
Yeah, they popped the Guardian Angel and Refresher Orb on Omni Knight. So what's on cooldown? BKB for Dragonite and Dragon Form. Roche will respawn in 20 seconds. Maybe DP can buy a Refresher Orb. Yes, yes, and she can go in again.
Oh, they will not suspect another Exorcism. Will Mineski be ready for this? She walks close. I don't know if she's still trying to hide it.
Yeah, one of the plays is just to hide it, since it just gives HP and regen, nothing else.
They're going right back to that spot. But they do have a high ground ward on the side of Mineski to see Lanham dancing below. Lanham makes the bold jump up and above. No one will be there. Looks like Roche is up. This is it. Vici, no. They got to get Mineski here. Mineski, low ground, they could jump. Are they going to think about jumping? Oh my.
They have no vision.
Yeah. To the other side of the river they go. So much respect coming out from both sides. The smoke has been popped. I think it's pinked out from Fenrir.
They want to go on Ori.
They're going in, right for Ori. They drop down that Ag Static Storm right on top of his head. Paparazzi look at him, but he can't find anyone. He can't find a target. Looking to settle for Mushi, but Ori's already gone. And Vici are now down 1, almost down a bear as well. They're able to make it to the high ground, but Jabs is in pursuit.
Their 3 or 4s are threatened.
They got to get back, and now they're down a precious DP. She was not even able to use the refresher.
Oh. They don't have the best save. They only have Nightmare. That's it. Now they're going to probably just take the Roche. Lanham gets a kill on the Ninja Boogie.
All right, that's a turnaround. He does have a buyback, though. Moves in now from Moon. They see Paparazzi. They lock him down. He's gone. He does have a buyback, and they use it.
This is good for Vici Gaming. 58 seconds is a long time. They dropped the gem. Where is that gem?
Not sure, but frantically, Mineski heading to the Roche pit, and they change their mind. Jabs spots him out. 2-man stun from Jabs to set this one up. Guardian Angel comes out from Ice Ice Ice. Follow up Paparazzi, buyback.
That's a dieback.
It's over. It could be over. Fenrir moving in with a Fiend's Grip, trying to go for the finish on Moon, but it's not going to be good enough, and Mushi begins to clean things up. Sweeping through his mop, the janitor goes to work, and that is it. Vici Gaming, they hold as long as they can, but they can't hold long enough. Mineski have done it in a wonderful back-and-forth game.
Yeah, one of the best we've seen so far in DAC. First, Vici Gaming was ahead, then Mineski, then Vici, Mineski, then Mineski.
Yeah.
And
Wow. So many critical moments there. And it just came down to when Vici Gaming were just nerfed inside their base without really anywhere to go out. I mean, in your opinion, the ultimate turning point that for Mineski to really take over?
well, in the last fight, definitely Static Storm with Aghanim Scepter on that DP who spent all the gold on that Refresher Orb. She should be maybe more careful about the positioning, but it only comes down to 0.2, 0.3 seconds reaction time, and Mineski had it better this game.
Mineski will take game 1 of this best of 3, but it's a full series ahead of us. We'll send things over to Red Eye in the panel to get their thoughts on game number 1.
Thanks very much, Kologai, and we'll come back to our commentary team, of course, with Lacoste for game number 2. Right back at the panel, though. It's a very good win for Mineski. They moved to within 1 game of an upper bracket final appearance for the first time since the second round of the DPC, all the way back in October. Incredible scenes. And another impressive victory. Took them a while to get there in the end, and it was a bit back and forwards in the middle bit. Looked a bit shady, but overall, still very impressive again.
I mean, Mineski almost fell victim to one of the most classic blunders. My panel as well. The first of which, and most famous, is of course never get into a land war in Asia. The second, never bet against a Dark Willow. However, while all men may be created equal, all willows are certainly not. And that was a real poor performance from Lanham, as Winter would love to talk about just now.
Wow.
I mean, talk about put you on the pedestal. But to be fair, it's not the first game we've seen him have a poor game on this hero.
I did mention this to you.
Yeah.
I'm not very impressed with his Dark Willow play. Missed a lot of his ultis, even though he had 2. But just way too many misses. Lone Druid as well played a huge role in that loss for Vici when they were ahead by like 5, 6, 7k after the laning phase. They played a wonderful laning phase. They shut down.
You said they had to have a good laning phase, and they did. It still didn't do them any good.
Yeah, they shut down Mushi, the key player of Mineski. His gyro was really poor at the start, but Lone Druid then decided, oh, I'm going to farm in this area where I have no vision. I don't see anyone there, but I decide that this is a safe area to farm.
And then do it 3 times.
Yeah, he does that 3 times in a row, and suddenly we have a game, you know.
Yeah, on the smallest thing. I was going to say, it's not. You can't just blame one player in this, Jack, can you? You can't just pin it on Lanham. He can only do so much.
Yeah, I think this was a pretty bold gambit by VG as far as the draft went. Again, they're a team that wants to favor their cores, scaling cores on as many of their heroes as possible. And I think that they managed to get off to a good start in lanes as well, because that was the point of their strategy, kind of abuse the start in lanes. They rotated very well with Paparazzi early on to secure those lanes. The problem is they lack balance with their draft. They don't have that like true utility hero who provides save and protection for the others, who acts as a great frontliner. And when you lack balance in this kind of lineup, I think at some point, if you're not able to end the game or snowball really hard out of lanes, you're eventually going to lose to a more balanced lineup.
I think that Roche fight was really where it turned, and you saw the Willow ult land on a Yule's target and 2 guys that were BKB'd. I think if it just held for a couple more seconds, they hit that on those cores in the pit, I think that the whole game might turn around. But I'd agree with Jack. I think Vici's draft required a much higher degree of execution, whereas Mineski has just land a couple stuns. Eventually this Disruptor has an Ags, and now whoever you go for is going to end up dying. And I really like Ice's itemization.
Some heavy sighs of relief for the Mineski boos, that's for sure. They know they've been in a game.
I mean, this is a huge tournament for them, right? Yeah. Like, they're this close to top 3 now, and that pushes them into an invite for TI. And if you look at the fringe teams right now, I don't see Na'Vi scoring any more points, and it looks to me to be like this 3 or 4 horse race between these SEA teams, EG, and then LGD for 2 of the remaining 8 spots between like these 4 or 5 teams. So this is huge for them, and I don't think they get a better chance. Looking at their path, as we discussed earlier, I think that they match up real well against these Chinese teams, and a berth in the finals would be big.
Scoreboard is upon you. Moon 10, 5, and 21 recovering in the game. Likewise, Mushi, who was very poor at the start of this game, recovering to 13, 3, and 17. Notable performance on the other side from Paparazzi with 10, 6, 13, 22k damage on the side of that Lifestealer as well. Overall MVP for you guys?
Be hard to say. I'd say it's probably Ice or DK. You guys can choose, but I thought Ice's itemization was really key to this game.
The Lotus Orb, the Radiance as well.
Yeah.
We were kind of like a bit discussing a little bit about the Lone Druid maybe going for the Radiance and the playing the bear mode would have changed the game, you know.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I think DK did the brunt of carrying his team into the game, securing space for Gyro to come back. So I'll give it to Moon.
Okay. You're going to give it to Moon?
I'd probably go with Ice. He had to recover from a difficult start in lane, and then the dam breaks during that early mid game if he messes up in a few fights. If he gets caught and just gets blown up, if he's unable to save the right target, if he gets out of position, then VG actually has a chance to finish running them over based on how the lane started. So I think he has to be able to stabilize to keep them into the game.
Yeah, to that point, I think that it's hard to recognize when an Omni Knight specifically is playing very well because you don't notice them because they're just using their spells. There's the repel, there's the GA. You only really call them out when they do bad.
Right.
So I would say it's Ice, but it's too late. Winner already gave it to Moon.
You've got to get in there quickly to beat Winter, you see. So that's the problem.
Unless you're making predictions, in which case you really want to go last.
I mean, I think we've discussed enough how he's like 1 in 15 billion on the other side of not getting predictions, right? Anyway, we're going to move on. Another chance for Winter to redeem himself in game number 2 because that's coming up after the break.